Hey guys, I'm Jackie, your Reluctant Housewife, empowering you to find your inner domestic goddess. And today, we're gonna make caramel apple pear pie. Okay, so I recently made this pie and it was so intimidating when I first thought of the idea, and then of course I Googled and other people have thought of it too. Not quite the apple pear part, but certainly the apple part. And I just thought, oh, this seems complicated when I read another person's recipe. But then I made it and it was super, super easy. So we're gonna keep it simple and make it that easy. So first, all we're gonna do is chop up some pears and some Granny Smith apples. You wanna get the Granny Smith apples because they're very tart and sour, and that sweetness with the pear and the sweetness with the caramel really makes a nice combination of sweet and sour. What we're gonna do is cut our apples in half. I'm only gonna use 2 apples and then I'm gonna use the rest pears. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to thinly slice the apple. Now you can go ahead and make them into chunks. It really doesn't matter, it's truly to each their own. But I kind of liked having it in thin slices. It felt a little bit more like an apple tartare, and it felt kind of tartan, apple tartan, not tartare. That would just be raw apple. It just felt a little bit more gourmet. So let's go ahead and chop these up into thin slices. So I've chopped up 2 Granny Smith apples and about 4 small pears. And you just put them in here. So easy. Let's go to this. Ow, I just bit my tongue. Let's go saute these. Okay, so we've got our skillet full of pears and apples. We've got some kosher salt, some brown sugar, some lemon, and we're just gonna keep adding this, and it's all gonna coagulate, and it's gonna be absolutely delicious. Okay, so let's get this on to a medium heat. Like a medium to low heat, honestly. You just don't want to get too high with the heat because you never know what's going to happen. I get distracted, things burn, it happens. So we're going to go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice, which is about 1 lemon. We're going to add a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. I'm just going to eye this. That's about a little bit more than a 1/4 cup, but whatever. We're gonna go ahead and add about a teaspoon of cinnamon. But if you're a big cinnamon person, you just go ahead and add all the cinnamon you want. We're gonna go ahead and add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And about a teaspoon of cornstarch. Again, if you're super type A like I am, please go to yourreluctanthousewife.com where the actual directions will be. Let's go ahead and start moving stuff around. The juice from the pears and the apple will be all the juice that you're gonna need. So you're not gonna have to add milk or, juice or anything that you might think you need to add. The cornstarch is gonna go ahead and start to combine all the juices. But just take your time with this. You can already see at the bottom, the juice is starting to form and bubble and get all yummy. It's gonna caramelize and it's just gonna be delicious. So I think the thing with apple pie or pear pie or apple pear pie is that it's so all American. And I'm not a big pie maker. I've really never been, but recently I just thought, well, let me just start trying to do this like a reluctant housewife does. And it's really fun. It's very different than cake. It's a little bit more in the sort of cooking zone of baking. And you do need to take your time with some of these pies. Like this one. This is one that you just sit and basically stir. You watch over it like a little baby pie. For those of you who watched me make lemon bars with my friend Cree, she really had such the perfect explanation of what a reluctant housewife was to her. And I have to admit that I believe that is exactly how I feel too. Where a reluctant housewife is someone who likes to do all of the sort of quote housewifey things, but doesn't want to feel like she's expected to do that. She doesn't want to feel like, oh, well, if I start baking pies, I'm going to be expected to bake pies every week. Or if I make a beautiful dinner for my family with, steak and the whole 9 yards, they're going to start expecting that that's going to happen every night. No, I mean, it's really about sharing your time and your energy and your love with the people you love, but also not feeling that we are going to get trapped like maybe some of our mothers did, but certainly our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers. This is all supposed to just be fun and experimental and kind of having fun with your feminine, whether you're a man or a woman. This is so much fun, and you've got to just sort of lean into that. And if it doesn't feel comfortable, lean back, watch me do it, take your time. This is all supposed to just, I'll say it again, it's just supposed to be fun, okay? So I'm gonna get you a real pretty view of what's going on down here because it's stunning. Okay, so our apples and our pears are just baking and bubbling. There's a lot of juice. I think the pears are a little juicier than the apples. So go ahead and make sure, because that's creating caramel right now. It's probably better to just let it simmer off until it's gone. All that flavor will just go into the apples and the pears. Alrighty, so our pears, our apples are fantastic. We're gonna go ahead and pour this into our pie. The beauty of this pie is that it's basically ready to go. We're gonna stick this in the oven and then it's gonna cook the crust and then we're good to go. Like, we're ready to eat. So it's not like one of those pies that you're gonna burn your crust because your fruit's all fresh and whatever. So hold on, we have one last thing. Now, first of all, we've got a really good caramel thing going on in here. So I am not gonna add very much of this. This is really just, is it gonna move? And I don't want to add too much because we've got so much going on in here already. Gorgeous. Ooh, now I just want some ice cream. All right, let's go ahead and just spread that over. Easy, right? I mean, we sauteed some apples and then we added caramel. Okay, the last thing that we're gonna do is I've gone ahead and taken, oh my gosh, the top of the other pie crust this came with, and we're gonna go ahead and pray to God that I can put it on top. Please, dear Lord. Here we go. Come on, come on, come on, come on. You can do this. Whew. All right, just barely, just barely. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to basically take the sides of the crust and mush them together. I'm a big fan of the pre-made crust. I really am. I'm just like, crust can be very temperamental and I haven't made it enough. And I really need to get out of my comfort zone and actually make more. But, you know, it's like when it's so good pre-made, like, why? It's a little lopsided, my poor little heart. Just like life. Just kidding. But we're going to go ahead and put this into the oven. And because, again, our apples are nice and cooked and our pears are nice and cooked, we're really just doing this for the crust. So I'm going to say start with 15 minutes. What you're looking for is a crust that is nice and golden brown. But, sorry, before we do that, we're going to put a little egg on top, and that's going to make it look like you just bought this at the bakery. We're going to whisk that egg together. And then don't add too much, but we're going to add this on top of our crust, and that's what gives it that beautiful golden brown color. Okay, cool. So it doesn't take much. You don't want to make scrambled eggs on top of your pie, so safety first. I always put my pies on a sheet pan. You just never know what's going to happen. I just need to be safe when I'm baking pears. We're going to put this in for about 15 minutes. Just check, look, you'll see it's golden brown. When it's golden brown, it's done. Okay, guys, are you seeing how cute this is? I would tilt it more, but you know what would happen if I did that. It's so cute. 15 minutes, got a little golden brown, took it right out, now it's cooling. It looks so impressive. It smells like heaven in here. It smells like all American heaven. And this is gonna be so great for my Friendsgiving on Sunday. Thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I'm Jackie, your Reluctant Housewife, empowering you to find your inner domestic goddess. Catch me at yourreluctanthousewife.com on all the social medias under Your Reluctant Housewife or just Reluctant Housewife. Say hey, subscribe, leave a message, and I'll see you next time, guys.